Are you ready to begin?
Stepping up, they know they want this fight. Big Sundering catches Li Ming, and she is down fast.
As these two teams out of CEs are just punching each other in the mouth right now.
Purification Salvo, Ring of Frost. This is a bloodbath.
Can they get the core, though? 22%.
And that is a triple kill.
Might be the end of it, and that is
it! Well done, heroes.
All right, everyone, and welcome to the NGS Monday Night Showdown pregame show. Tonight, for the very first Monday Night Showdown, we have a matchup that is extra special to me, coming out of Division D East. So what do you say we get ready for some Heroes of the Storm? Heck yeah! I'm, of course, your esteemed host, Turd Herder, and tonight we'll be bringing you an inside look into our featured matchup for this Monday night. It's going to feature Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits taking on the Nexus Cats. That's why it's extra special to me. As always, to help us do this, we are going to have two very excellent analysts on our side. Covering Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, it is going to be the head caster himself, Jay Zahn. And covering my very own team, the Nexus Cats, it's going to be Mongoose. So, without further ado, let's kick it off with an interview with Seymour, the captain of Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits. Take it away, Jason.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday Night Showdown. We've got today Seymour, team captain here for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits. How are you doing tonight, Seymour?
Doing well, Jason. How about you?
Oh, you know, it's been quite a weekend, and I'm really looking forward to this Monday Night Showdown matchup. But really what we're here to talk about is you guys. First thing I want to ask you is just a little bit of team background. How often do you guys practice, and how long have you guys been playing together?
Well, the current lineup of the Sweaty Bandits actually has not been playing together very long. Maybe like since the NGS season started, actually.
Oh, there you go.
Coney's Island was on the team with me last season, but everyone else is a new addition. As far as how often do we practice, we don't practice often. Maybe once or twice a week.
All right. So, is there anything? Is there any kind of like divisional rivals that you guys have in your division, or are you guys, being a new team? Are you looking forward to playing anybody in particular?
Well, I mean, we're definitely looking to play Save the Murloc anytime. They were our. They defeated us last season in the finals of Division E, so we always have fun playing them, and that's really about it. I really want to see Frank's Furters this season. So far, they look like they're in the standings pretty high, so I'm interested to see what their team's looking like.
Yeah, and they actually were looking pretty good on our Thursday Night Showdown just a couple nights ago, so definitely going to be interested to see you guys match up against those guys, for sure. How do you guys feel like you stack up right now in your division?
Right now I'm a little concerned. It looks like Division D is pretty good right now. I just think we need a little more practice, bring our chemistry together. It does look like a lot of the teams have been playing together for a while. Names that were familiar from last season that are still together this season.
Yeah, that makes sense. We have a lot of returning teams and a lot of teams that have a lot of longevity still in the league, and so a new team like yours, I could see where that's maybe a little bit intimidating, if not just motivating to play against these teams.
Yeah, definitely motivating. We welcome that challenge, and we're just going to keep persevering. And I mean, we're looking for that playoff spot. Definitely, we're looking for it.
Speaking of the future, as we head on into the back half of the season, what are your season goals looking forward? Do you guys think you have a good shot at playoffs? How far do you want to go?
I mean, I, personally, I'm looking for the finals, to be honest.
There you go.
Our standings may look rough now, but last season we didn't start off that great. We were kind of mid-pack, and we ended up getting to the playoffs and sweeping all the way to the finals. So, personally, I'm looking for that final spot, and the playoffs are our first goal there.
Yeah, and I do think that Heroes in general is a very momentum-based game, so I think you guys are right on track there with trying to just hit your stride at the end of the season. But yeah, I wanted to give you an opportunity if you want to make any shout-outs or call out anything in particular, either you or your opponents, the Nexus Cats, this week. The floor is yours.
First of all, just really want to shout out my team. I know they're working hard. Just getting in the practice that we can. We have other stuff going on like life, and you know how that goes. So, shout out to them for getting the time in when we can. And shout out to Nexus Cats too. We're definitely looking at y'all. So, I know y'all got some familiar names from last season that I saw in Division E, like Arthanau and Turd Herder. So, we're looking for that matchup for sure.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining me, and good luck on Monday night. We'll be watching.
Thank you, Jason.
Now, let's send it on over to Mongoose for an interview with the self-proclaimed captain of the Nexus Cats, Arthanau. Over to you, Mongoose.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this spectacular interview with Arthanau of the Nexus Cats, participating in the inaugural Monday Night Showdown. Arthanau, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty well. How about you, Mongoose?
Going fantastic. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California, so no complaints from myself. First of all, let's start with the Nexus Cats. Last season, I'm pretty sure, was your guys' initial NGS season. That's correct?
That is correct.
So why don't you go through where you guys came from, how you did last season, and then how that has carried over here into Season 6, and what it's been like, maybe the differences between first season and second season as a team, that kind of stuff.
Sure. So, funny enough, we started as a, team league stomp team. We were having a good time together. We were like, it'd be fun if we did HGC Open when that was still a thing. So, on a whim, on a Monday night, we said, we'll try and do that open tournament they do every week. And so we did it. And I get a message from Kala, and he says he's going to cast our game. And we were not prepared whatsoever. And we proceed to get stomped by, I think the team name was Nirvana Hots or something like that. And we get stomped in front of 2,000 people. And that's how many were watching the stream at the time. And we said that was the coolest thing ever. We got wrecked. It was embarrassing. So many teams, so many people watching us and rooting for us because we were very clearly new and had no idea what we were doing. We've never played competitive HOTS outside of Team League. Very different experience. And we said, that's cool. So let's keep doing it. So I found NGS, signed up for NGS Season 5, and we were addicted to it. We had Murda cast our first NGS game, and we won that series out of it was a core race in both games. That was when we did best of 2, and both games ended in a core race, and we were high on the adrenaline of it. So I think that's whenever we got the addiction of competitive HOTS. And we kept playing, we kept practicing, and we got a coach, August from Chicken Nuggets from last season. He coaches us, or at the very least puts up with us. So that's our team, and we just been playing ever since.
So what were the results like last year? Because the first season, in my opinion, as having been around on many teams between Chair League and Nexus Gaming Series, my experience is the first season for a new team is generally the most difficult, both in the forms of competition and also team chemistry, keeping everything together, scheduling. What was that experience like? What were the results like when Season 5 wound down?
Season 5 wound down. We made it to playoffs. We had to do the wild card weekend. We seeded first in wild card, seeding us 7th in playoffs, and we were pretty happy about it. It was our first full season as a new team. We felt like we learned a lot from the experience, and we were hoping we could come back the next season and do a lot better, which so far this season's still young, but we feel like we've really come together as a team with much better chemistry, and now I would say some of my closest friends. So I think we've learned a lot from that experience. And the first season definitely was one of the roughest one. We had a lot to learn.
So what has been the difference that has led to that better chemistry that you're talking about that's transformed into better in-game results?
I think honestly it's the power of friendship. We're all friends. We talk to each other almost every day. We play together, at least once a week, sometimes more. And I think we're all on the same page about how to improve and what to be conscious of whenever we do play. So our goal every time we play together is to learn at least one thing. And I think it's one thing to just play the game. It's different whenever you go into a game trying to get something out of it. And I think we've learned a lot doing that, and I feel it's made us a lot stronger.
So let's go to tonight's game, Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits. How well do you know those guys? Any thoughts on the matchup itself?
Oh yeah, I'm actually I respect Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits quite a bit. We played them last season in a best of 2 series, and they stomped us. They made us feel really bad. That was one of the games where we had to take a step back and talk as a team about what's going wrong. Seymour's a really great guy. He plays a very mean thrall, and I want him to know that it's not going to be as easy as last season. So hopefully we put up a good fight. It's going to be a good time.
So what you're saying is this time it's personal and you're going to destroy them all. That's what you're trying to tell me?
I guess that is what I'm trying to tell you.
All right. Final question from me in this short going for quality over quantity interview. What is the Nexus cat that was behind you's name?
Oh, that was Pumpkin. Her birthday was yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, Pumpkin. So yesterday being Saturday, because this is Sunday right now. How old is Pumpkin?
She is 2.
And is she officially the cat that the Nexus cats were named after, or is there a collection of actual Nexus cats?
Oh, it's a collection of Nexus cats. There's I'm trying to think, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 cats between all of us on this core 5.
That's a lot of cats. I love your guys. Your logo too.
It's a lot of cats. We really like our cats.
I've found that to be, I think, generally true in the HOTS community. There's a lot of cats people in here, doggo people too, animal people. We all like animals.
Oh, we love all kinds of animals.
All right, well, now that we've gone completely off the rails, Arthano, let's wrap it up. Any closing thoughts from you about the matchup or your season thus far?
Yeah, I hope it's a good matchup. I admittedly hope it's a 2-0 domination in our favor. We'd like to secure that first seed for playoffs and hopefully stroke our ego a little bit more. But I wish the best of luck to Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits with the rest of the season, just not tonight. And my team's been great, and I really couldn't do it without the rest of them because they are the best people on the team, not me. They actually carry me. Lulu, if you're listening, Turd Herder, if you two are listening, thanks for not strangling me after I die for Vision. But Vision's important. But Mark Zombie, shot caller, phenomenal guy, phenomenal shot caller, and I think he might be casting a lot of games too. So thanks to all the team. Everyone's great.
All right, guys. Well, let's get back to our prep for this game. Looking forward to casting it, and good luck tonight, Arthano.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
And now to wrap things up, let's get some final thoughts and predictions from our analysts. Take it away, guys.
All right, so some final thoughts to wrap this up before we go into this matchup. Nexus Cats, obviously going to be the favorite coming into this matchup. Just looking at the standings, looking at how they've performed so far, and this one knows a little bit about cats, so I think she is definitely going on the side of the Nexus Cats. However, Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits are going to bring some of the interesting comp ideas, the interesting strategies that are a little bit off meta and hard to deal with overall. So I like them taking at least one of these games. So I'm calling it here. Nexus Cats win 2-1 in the series. and I think that's made Ysera pretty happy. So I think we're on. I think we're right on it.
All right, everyone, that's all the time we have for us tonight. But don't you go anywhere. Coming up right after this, it's the Monday Night Showdown. We're going to go ahead and send it on over to the two analysts that helped us out tonight, Mongoose and Jason, who are going to help us with the cast and get this match underway. I want to give a big thank you to all of the cast and crew that's helping us get this show out to you tonight, and thank you for all of you guys for tuning on in. I hope you guys enjoy the match. This is Turd Herder here saying, adios amigos. See you next time.
Are you ready to begin?
Stepping up, they know they want this fight. Big sundering catches Li Ming, and she is down fast.
As these two teams out of CEs are just punching each other in the mouth right now.
Purification salvo, Ring of Frost. This is a bloodbath.
Can they get the core though? 22%.
And that is a triple kill.
Might be the end of it. That is it.
Well done, heroes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Monday Night Showdown. I am Jason, and we're so glad you all could make it. We've got Mongoose with us here tonight to help us bring us this Div D East match. How are you doing tonight, Mongoose?
Spectacular! It's Monday Night Showdown, and even more exciting than that
exactly.
other show.
And you know, I like this because it's a little flexible right up to it, rather than a schedule out. And never mind, we'll stop comparing it to that. But either way, tonight we've got a heck of a matchup for you guys. Nexus Cats versus Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits out of the Div D East division. And these are two teams that have been just tearing it up on this side of the bracket here on the east side. And we saw another matchup on the Thursday Night Showdown from this. So, I mean, if we're featuring two matches in a row from this division, it's got to be hot, Mongoose.
Yeah, pretty spicy. And what kind of makes the Division D matchups fun, in particular Div E is Division D East, is that all of those teams really know each other well, both from last season and then from the Zul'jin Distillery Invitational in the off season. So these guys really know each other pretty well. And then you combine that with the always spicy and entertaining Div D off meta. and it can
All
really
right,
make
let's
for some fun
quickly
games.
jump into the maps because we're running a little bit behind right now, and these guys are ready to go. Weenus, of course, this awesome map tool given to us this season. Nexus Cats winning the toss, electing to defer the map pick. They elected to ban out Dragonshire. Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits electing to ban out Tomb of the Spider Queen. Infernal Shrine is going to be the first pick for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, and that means that we're going to have first pick, first ban going over to the Nexus Cats to start out the series.
Yeah, in this meta, it's always a personal choice, team to team, player to player, but I am all about that first pick. So there are so many strong heroes and so many heroes against, to be frank, that I just want that first pick to control the number of those that can slip to the other team.
Yeah, and so we're going to start out here as we go into the draft. Game number 1, going to be on Infernal Shrines. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and checking out this matchup. Should be a lot of fun down here in Div D, where pretty much anything can happen at any time, Mongoose. We talked about it. I talked about it a little earlier. I do think Nexus Cats have a little bit of an advantage going into this, but one thing we'll start to see coming out right here in the draft is that Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, they don't follow the same rules when it comes to drafting and meta. They love their off-meta picks. They love their counter strategies, and I'll be interested to see if they can do something to kind of unbalance the Nexus Cats.
Yeah, something extra sweaty just for the Nexus Cats.
Yeah, and I've seen just about everything come out from this season, including triple specialist with the Lost Vikings and just all kinds of crazy stuff. But bans starting to look a little bit interesting right off the bat here. Gul'dan banned out on the side of the Nexus Cats, so trying to limit the wave clear there. They also take out Thrall, so maybe they just hate orcs, I don't know. And Stukov going to be banned out from Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty interesting compositions throughout the season, and in the analyst channel, somebody brought up so far this season, as Artha now is going to go ahead and first pick that Jaina. So far this season in NGS, every hero has participated in a game except for one, and that's poor, lonely Probius. And I was going to say, so far this draft looking slightly meta with the bans and picks thus far. Asmodan coming out here for Olaf and all of his Sweaty Bandits, and then Johanna, who's really crushing it in the lower divisions, top tank by a pretty good margin.
Poor Probius gets a team named after him, but still can't get a game. Feels bad. But meanwhile, Johanna and Asmodan, a really cool combination on this map. It's not a super heavy rotation map, but you can pretty well rotate between mid and bot to start off the game to try and stack up Asmo. Meanwhile, Nexus Cats, kind of in their style, going a little bit more meta. Big burst wave clear hero with the Jaina, Imperius, who's super good in the off lane right now, and Tyrande, who, while she's been falling off slowly a little bit, I still think I would put her in one of the top 2 tiers as far as supports go.
Yeah, for sure. But what this, as the Anubarak banned out from the Sweaty Bandits, what that Johanna Asmodan does is that Asmodan, and that is a target ban if we've ever seen one. That is not trolling at all. That is 100% a targeted ban.
We saw that highlight in the pregame show, and we're like, nope.
They must have. No,
I don't want to get
sir.
triple killed by a Murky. Not on this stream. Not on the NGS channel.
The Asmodan puts a timer on the game, Jay, because the longer it goes, the more that orb is going to scale. And then we have Whitemane and Raynor leaving Grogman, the Murky Master himself, as the flex pick to round out the comp. We'll see if we get something spicy or just regular.
I'm stroking my, not beard, but chin thoughtfully, thinking what might Grogman be holding that last pick for. But again, back to the well. Diablo, I don't know how Diablo made it down this far in the draft, by the way, Mongoose, but Diablo makes it all the way down to second to last pick here, and Maiev going to be picked up as well. So you can't get any more meta from Nexus Cats. I love this draft. The only question is, what can Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits do with their counter pressure? Do they have some kind of pocket pick here to throw at them?
Yeah, and Johanna, as solid as she is, she is not going to be able to hold back Diablo, Imperius, Maiev. There is just no scenario in which Johanna is going to be able to control that front line. And there's your answer. Kind of a diva bomb on top of all of that mess. That could do it. The diva bomb in the middle of everything that Nexus Cat's going on will completely break up that engagement. So it's an interesting pick. We'll see if they're able to execute that. But what I started to say is Diablo, Imperius, Lunar Flare, Maiev, that is a ton of single target blow up CC, and the positioning of Raynor and Asmodan and Whitemane is going to be paramount for those guys not to get picked off.
Agreed. I think it's definitely something that they're going to have to worry about here, but we'll have to see if they can adjust to it anyway. I do kind of like their odds with at least a lot of wave clear here, a lot of shrine clear, to at least be able to make this, a solid game. But we'll have to see how it all turns out as we head on into game number 1. Any predictions before we get this started, Mongoose?
Well, my first, I usually go with the team that has portrait synergy in the loading screen, but these teams are on point. So I think I'm going to give the advantage to Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits because their portrait synergy is actually a bunch of sweaty bandits in a boat.
I like it.
So that's my tiebreaker.
I mean,
yeah,
there are the reindeer cats
I really
on the
want
other
to see
side, though.
more serious. That is true. That is true. You know what? I'm gonna call it a tie. That the portrait synergy just too good for both sides, cats and bandits.
All right. Well, let's get on into game number 1. On the left, we are going to have the Nexus Cats. Mark Zombie going to be playing the Diablo. That guy going to be on Maiev. Lulu going to be playing the Tyrande. Team Captain Arthaniu is going to be on the Jaina. And up top, we got Imperius going to be being played by Shadowguard.
And the red team, Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits. We have Team Captain Seymour playing Raynor. Coney's Island on Asmodan. Pez on Whitemane, Udonomancer on Johanna, and on Diva we have Grogman. Have fun, no luck, please. And there's the cat spray, and if there's one thing we know out of the Nexus Cats, their spray game, Jason,
no doubt
is
about
on
it.
point.
Down in Div D, these guys play for keeps when it comes to sprays, dances, and taunts, so be interested to see how that comes into play here. If anybody gets tilted a little bit early from that, but right away we do see the rotation started. Quick clear, 14 stacks, which is exactly what you want to see if you're Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits. They're off to a good start.
Yeah, that's what the first thing I was going to bring up is how in sync Johanna and Asmodan are. If you stack up quickly, it can really get Asmodan online much, much faster. The other thing I want to keep an eye on is if Diva takes a nuclear option. I believe that is level 7, and I really don't want her to because I think the Diva bomb by itself with the regular timer would do a nice job of kind of breaking up the momentum of the Nexus Cats, but with the nuclear option, they can kind of ignore it for a long time and continue to finish their blow up before trying to get out of the way.
One thing I was going to bring up, of course, the mage player on the squad here for the caster crew. Level 1 talent for Arthaniu. He's going with a longer range on the Frostbolt, so he's kind of starting that machine gun build where he might be looking for a little bit more poke to try and get back to some of these backline damage dealers like Raynor that would normally outrange a Jaina.
Yeah, I mean there's definitely something to a full Q build. It is fairly common. Traditionally at 1 though, you don't see that range. You see either mostly the mana talent.
Yeah,
the
globe
name is escaping
talent,
me with the globing talent for Jaina. Yeah, and then occasionally you'll see the increased slow if it's maybe against a Garrosh or there's some specific reason that you want that particular
Arthaniu,
talent.
you're just gonna have to be careful with the mana with neither the 1 or 4 talent to get any mana back. So just gonna be thirsty throughout the game. Not even a Malfurion to help out with that problem. But right away we do see 48 globes so far for Coney's Island, so that's a pretty good start there. And Camp going to be grabbed as well for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, so they're already applying a little bit of that patented map pressure that they like to do so much.
Yeah, Nexus Cats though soaking a little better, just passively. They're about 25 to 30% of a level ahead in soak. So a small advantage there for Nexus Cats, but objective has spawned. Neither team really prioritizing that top lane bruiser to get pushing during the objective. So it's really just going to be straight to the 5v5 brawl. Actually, now Olaf is going over there. This is pretty late to be doing this. They're going to be spotting the Nexus Cats a pretty big advantage on that objective. And trading that for some top lane pressure. So we'll see how quickly Nexus Cats can stack up these Shrine Monkeys while the Sweaty Bandits are on that
Shrine clear in the game. I would say that Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits have far better, but giving them half of it to start this off, even a little more than that, is definitely something to be said for that in terms of the disadvantage. But Grogman's going to charge right in here with the defense matrix, going to deny a little bit of that, and I expect the bomb to come out soon as well, which should allow them to get a little bit of extra clear here, but still only 10 left to get here for the Nexus Cats.
Yeah, and Asmodan is in trouble. I don't think he's going to get away. A big Condemn coming out to hold him out. There is the D.Va bomb. Does not catch anybody. 32 Shrine Monkeys for the Nexus Cats. They're going to be securing this objective here pretty shortly, I would imagine. That camp is pushing in the top lane, so a little bit of side pressure for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, but I like the idea to grab that camp. It was just probably about 10 seconds too late on that rotation, I think. And you can see it only got wall on the top. It really didn't get a lot of value, even with the Asmodan.
Yeah, and a lot of those camps not very strong in the early game, but they scale very, very hard, particularly that Shaman camp. But I really like how the Nexus Cats played that engagement. They knew they had a lead. They didn't need to frantically clear the Shrine Monkeys to finish off getting the Punisher. They just instead decided to focus on the heroes that were coming in. They get a big pick on Asmodan, which is a quintessential part of the Sweaty Bandits comp here. They're able to secure the first map objective and get the entire front gate and bot. So they get a little bit more than Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits got in the top lane.
Yeah, and despite the objective being secured, though, really no XP advantage gained by the Nexus Cats. They're pretty much where they were before. Both teams rotating onto camps. Bruiser camp in the top side for Nexus Cats, as Artha now, as you mentioned, running out of mana, gonna go hit a little break at the Hall of Storms.
Take a breather after that camp, and we'll have to see if later in the game the priority here does have us renaming them the Nexus camps, but for right now, the Cats doing a very good job of playing the macro so far, even though they haven't put a huge priority on the camps yet. But I will say this, the top timing is just a little bit strange. They do cap it, so they are going to be allowed to rotate around the map, clear these waves, clean up a little bit, but they're not going to have that to try to counter push for the next objective, which will be in the mid lane.
Yeah, I'm going to draw attention to that level 7 talent for D.Va. She did take nuclear option. I really want to watch to see how much value they're going to get out of that. The composition that Nexus Cats is running is really all about going in hard on a target, and in my opinion, the value of that D.Va is to break up the momentum of that engagement. And if you have a 7-second timer on that D.Va bomb, it's just too much time for the bomb to break up that momentum. You're going to have to proc it super, super early. I kind of wish they would have just stayed with the regular length on the bomb to break up the momentum of a hard engage
like
by
kind
the
of
Nexus
a soft
Cats.
counter to that guy on the Maiev, though. You can't tether. You got to be very careful with that tether when the bomb's going off. You don't want to pull it in, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who wins out in that exchange. Might have been an attempt at some memes there, but I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.
So 10's online for both sides. For the side of Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, we have Bunny Hop, Scarlet Aegis, Demonic Invasion actually for Asmodan, which is interesting, not typically the pick you see. Hyperion for Jimmy Rayner, and Blessed
on the left
Shield
for, the
for
Nexus
Johanna.
Cats, they've got the Ring of Frost as Seymour is going to get caught out in the mid lane and taken down. Huge gank there for the Nexus Cats, but we're also going to have Starfall with the Apocalypse, Angelic Armaments, and of course the Warden's Cage. Also kind of a soft counter to Warden's Cage. I do believe if it's popped and the D.Va bomb's put on it, it will send it to the mid.
Interesting. So we could see Ping Pong D.Va Bomb. I don't think I've seen that interaction
It would
actually.
be interesting. Of course, Diablo can also shove it, can flip it. I don't know why he would ever do that. I would bet it could be speared, but I don't know. Well, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll learn some interesting things in this matchup as we've now got the heroics in.
I mean, I could see shoving it one direction if your team was kind of going the other way and it was going to be close, just to give your team.
Well, all of these are kind of assuming mixed clicks, I think. But either way, we are going to see the Nexus Cats once again on top of it to start this off. But Grogman is coming in with the defense matrix. They're starting to clear out on the other side. Coney Island also going ahead and throwing down that demonic invasion, so going to help them catch up a little bit. And they're actually pretty close here, but the huge engage onto the back. Coney Island as a huge apocalypse comes out. Warden's Cage as well. Asmodan gets completely blown up there, but nuclear option is coming. It's just going to force all the members of the Nexus Cats to back out, give them a little room to breathe, but Grogman gets interrupted trying to get back into the mech, and that's going to be a second kill going over to the side of the Nexus Cats.
Yeah, I think that's going to be more than a second, probably a third, as Pez is really low. That Q build for Jaina coming online. Udo Manser is very low as well, and
Arthani, you're taking advantage of that level 1 there. The crossbow from way downtown. Gonna take out and get a third kill. Pez now going in a little bit too deep. Nexus Cats are gonna pounce on that, and just like that, they've got the Mortar Punisher marching down the mid lane.
Yeah, but we saw with the Diva Bomb there, Jay, they just simply walked out and kind of came back around. It didn't feel very impactful.
Yeah, right away, they're just not quite getting the value that they want out of their heroics right now, I don't think. Maybe a little bit of a syncing problem as well. They don't seem to be pressing the R buttons all at the same time. Meanwhile, Nexus Cats not having any problem coordinating on the other side as you see all of those heroics come out on that engage at the bottom of that shrine, and they just completely blew up 2 and were able to carry that momentum through the mid fort. First fort of the game now going over to the Nexus Cats.
Yeah, Grogman very nicely started this bottom siege camp for the Nexus Cats. They're going to walk in and finish that off. So over a full level lead here for Nexus Cats, Jay. 6 kills unanswered to 0. Also, did Bunny Hop go off in that fight? I think they actually were able to take out Grogman before he was able to
I think that Grogman came in and tried to initiate with the bomb, assuming that he'd be able to get back into it. But that was just a brilliant interrupt there off the overpower of all things from Diablo to be able to prevent her from getting back into that mech. And so no Bunny Hop if you don't have mech available.
So both teams getting their camp, Siege Giants for the side, or a Siege Camp I should say, for the side of Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, the Bruisers in the top lane for Nexus Cats. And now it looks like they will rotate into lanes, both teams doing a little housekeeping. Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits will, if they all get here, will have numbers for a short minute. There is the Bunny Hop. Grogman able to get out with his life, but not his mech. Imperius is rotating to at least mid lane, but Nexus Cats simply taking their quarter kill or half kill, whatever that mech is worth, and kind of being on their way.
Yeah, still a nice get. You know, they're going to deny Diva that mech, force her to have to rotate around the map and charge that back up, but a little bit of XP from that mech kill as well. But right now, the Nexus Cats are playing patiently. They're looking for that level 16 talent tier.
Yeah, and it's right around the corner. They're going to get it right as the objective is popping. They should be able to take this fort for free, I would imagine. Seymour needs to be very careful. There's really not a lot for him to do here other than maybe wave from a very safe distance.
He can wait for the wave to come back in, but you're right, that's about it. There's so much engage potential. I like it staying generally out of vision, but now actually goes in on it. Look at the push party. Full gank party coming in from the Nexus Cats. They're ready to pounce.
Yeah, I think they were hoping Seymour would overstep, and you can actually see Seymour. He kind of smelt the bush party, I think, because he stepped way back. I think the Nexus Cats were hoping Seymour would push up with that wave a little bit. They kind of hung around in the area, but Seymour didn't see them on the map and wisely backed up. So a great, actually really good play, heads up for both sides.
Senses were tingling there, and not going to see him going into that lane, but Grogman does scout out where a couple members of the Nexus Cats are, but you alluded to it. Level 16 here now for the objective spawn for the Nexus Cats, and now level 15 and still about half a level to go until Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits can even hope to have any kind of even footing for this fight, let alone the objective. But in they come with a massive engagement. The ring comes down as well with the Warden's Cage. The Starfall just dealing a ton of damage, and they caught a couple members out here in the bot. 2 more kills going over to the side of the Nexus Cats.
Yeah, Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits just overstepped a little bit. Nexus Cats recognized that, engaged hard, and came up with the big play to take out Whitemane and Asmodan and ensure that this objective will be uncontested. So another objective over to the Nexus Cats. This one will be an Arcane Punisher that's going to be pushing down the bottom lane straight on to keep
Yeah, and we'll have to see whether or not Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits can try to defend this. They do have the level 16 talent here, and I love this call. They know they're not going to be able to contest the objective, so they're going to go ahead and get themselves some free value in the top lane, get down this fort, maybe open some kind of win condition later in the game. If they're able to get a full team wipe, they can maybe open up the top keep, and then maybe one more team fight after that. They could maybe look to go core.
And look at the Nexus Cats in the bottom. They left it at 39, a very heads-up, savvy play. They're going to get all the camps. The only maybe thing that I would use to optimize this more is I would have got the middle camps first and then the bottom camp to get the bottom camp pushing with John Cena. Because right now it looks like Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits might just free clear that Merc camp. Would have been really nice for Nexus Cats to get kind of a super wave pushing in the bottom
Yeah,
with the
Diva,
John
meanwhile,
Cena
still
there.
pushing up in that top lane, is going to pull away Imperious to have to clear up here. So again, that is open. That wall opened, that bottom wall opened up, but 2 camps in the mid, and then the Punisher marching down the bot lane. This is going to be a tough defense here for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits.
And not just 2 camps in the mid, it's actually 2 camps and 2 catapults. So that's going to be a really hard push in the middle lane, even if the Nexus Cats don't give it any help. Forcing Diva to go up there, and it's a 4-on-4 in the bottom with Imperious
Punisher
and Diva
is
off
baited
doing
over the
solo
wall.
lane
Wall
things.
is now down though. 33% left on the Punisher. John Cena is about to jump somebody, so they're going to pull him back to the core and force him to at least have a little bit of distance. And actually, I take it back. He had already used his jump, so he's going to go down. But the keep is going to fall right along with it. First keep of the game over to the Nexus Cats.
Yeah, and it always feels bad to lose that first keep, but that was a heads-up veteran play by Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, really recognizing that they're really that keep was really done. But a bush party here by Nexus Cats.
Uh-oh.
You cannot. Oh, Pez. Oh, Pez. Don't do it. Don't do it, Pez. Oh, the Impale misses, and it doesn't matter.
All the
because nothing
stealthiness
else
coming
did
out
miss.
from the Nexus Cats. And this is exactly the kind of play I would expect from these guys. They're very coordinated as a team. They definitely play a lot of meta, and they play pretty standard. Meanwhile, Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, they do a lot of the split push and the non-meta stuff. And occasionally you'll see that kind of thing happen where there's a rotation that's maybe not as tight, but right now I would definitely say that the Nexus Cats are playing at the top of their game here for the Monday Night Showdown.
Yeah, and that's one of those teachable moments, if you will. If you're playing in competitive Heroes of the Storm, which is definitely different from your regular games that you in pickup. If the other team is literally nobody is showing, and you are not the tank player, even sometimes if you are the tank player, you cannot face check a bush. You cannot do it. Even some of the tanks would have gotten exploded in that situation. You check it with the skill shot, or some kind of vision tool, not with your face. Asmodan, when this wave comes in here, Asmodan is going to be in trouble.
Party. In comes that guy with the tether, the push into the wall, the root coming in from Arthaniu, and that is going to be it for Asmodan. Unidancer trying to get onto Arthaniu on the back line, but too much counter damage available there. The Hyperion comes out. They will be able to clean up the lane here, but that's yet another kill. Now 10-0 for the Nexus Cats. They have 20, and Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits are going to have to probably concede this fort, but they're still hanging around here. They got to watch out. Again, the charge coming in from Mark Zombie Seymour getting double stunned into these walls. The Starfall is going to come down as well to deal a little extra damage. Right now, it looks like Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits are going to be fine to escape here, but I love the aggression coming out right now from the Nexus Cats.
Yeah, and that was not just aggression, but patient, controlled aggression. They sat in this bush here for a long time and waited for the wave to come in and then got on the Asmodan. And on the flip side, that was a really nice fighting disengage by Olaf to get those heroes out of there, because it really looked like they were in trouble.
Ooh,
but speaking of being in trouble, Jay...
able to jet out just in time there. And not quite finding the spear there as Shadow Guard, but so close. I'm not gonna lie. There was a little bit of a pucker factor there.
Yeah, and not just Diva, but there were a couple of Sweaty Bandits on that camp too for a time until they got in the heck out of there. But Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, they have to come up here. They cannot just concede another one. I know the Mert camp is mid. I know they're dealing with pressure, but this is 20-20 with theoretically a stacked Asmodan. You have to contest this. They cannot just let them get this for free, and they're taking far too long.
Yeah, they're pretty much conceding at this point, but they do have level 20. Level 20 Asmodan, as we do see the Demonic Invasion coming out. Mark Zombie going to push that Diva mech into the corner to try and give it as little value as possible. Arthanio almost actually catches the damage there, but that guy going to have to rotate out. And for now, Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits have zoned out the Nexus Cats here.
Yeah, but Johanna is in trouble despite the white main heals. Probably going to get the unstoppable proc. Everybody pressing their buttons. A triple lunar flare into the Warden's Cage, into the Apocalypse. Ring of Frost goes down. Bunny Hop going down, driving away Maev. Raynor the first to fall, followed closely by Tyrande. A 1-for-1. There's the indestructible by Johanna.
Back and forth we go. The seesaw that is the fight here on Infernal Shrines. Maybe the last fight and the last stand of Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits as Coney Island gets charged and eventually goes down. Can't quite find the kill on Arthaniu. It's going to end up being a 1-for-2 exchange. And actually, they're still pretty close here on the shrine. So this is not quite over yet, Mongoose.
No, it is not, but it will be once the Nexus Cats come re-engage on this. And I hate to go back on it. Without nuclear option, at least one member of Nexus Cats is caught in that Diva Bomb, possibly more. But that just increased death timer just takes it from a team fighting tool and turns it into
and we will see for right now Whitemane getting caught out and taken out here as 13-1 now on the kill count as Diablo is low on mana, but other than that, the Nexus Cats looking pretty good. They got Tyrande coming back right now, so we'll see them marching down the top lane here. A little bit of bottom lane pressure that Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits are taking care of. They do still have the wall to bait over, but I love this call. They're going to go ahead and deny this camp while they set up to get ready to push in the top lane.
Yeah, and Whitemane is not going to be here for this defense. If you're the Nexus Cats, you got to be eyeballing the game here. You basically pick up a kill or two and then put this one away. Demonic Invasion coming down as the Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, they dig in their heels and try to keep
and we
this
do
game
have
going.
The top keep going down. Punisher falling as well, though. The Mortar Punisher trying to deal some damage here, zoning out the members. The jump does come in before he'll fall. Stun onto Johanna. APOC to follow it up, but they're not finding the CC they want. And now here comes the re-engagement from Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits.
Yeah, Blessed Shield goes out, holding them here, but it's really Diablo and everyone else. Ring of Frost only catches Raynor. There's the Warden's Cage on top of it. Johanna taking a ton of damage. Indestructible is still available. She does get that proc, now running away. Nuclear option, not catching anybody, but Maev might be in trouble with the Bunny Hop, so Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits showing signs of life, able to get their first team fight win of this game and trying for more as Imperius falls as well. Jay, what is Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits going to do with this window of opportunity that they have?
We'll have to take a look. They do have the option to try and march into the top lane and find themselves a keep. They're actually going to, I think, stop to try and grab this camp. They're looking at Mark Zombie, trying to catch him out here, but a nice turn as they shove Udomaster into the wall and gonna have him taking a little damage. This fort still active for Coney Island as he tries to rotate through the mid. But this is a little bit troubling for me, Mongoose. These guys seem like they're a little uncoordinated as they're trying to find where to take their advantage off of this win.
Yeah, definitely not on the same page there. D.Va stayed in the top lane for a long while to prep it. I just figured Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits would leave D.Va up to prep that top lane, rotate as 4 onto that top bruiser camp, and see if he could get a keep out of it. But they spent so much time chasing and then kind of split off into twos that they kind of didn't really get much of anything out of really their first moment in this game to
I will say this much though, Mongoose. You look at the different heroes on the side of Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits. Not just Asmodan, but there are multiple members that scale very well into the late game. So, and meanwhile, a lot of heroes like Maiev, a lot stronger in the early game. They don't scale quite as well, but we'll have to see how it finishes out here. But Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, they still got a chance in this thing.
Oh, 100% they do. I mean, one team fight is a keep, a second team fight is the game. So that's what they need to win, is 2 decisive team fights. Maybe 1 if they're fast enough, but haven't seen signs of that quite yet. It would have to be a very decisive rotation to win this game.
Meanwhile, Camp is picked up in top, so that's something that's going to be pushing with catapults as well. Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits going to have to look to try and clear those out in the top. But here comes the rotation from the Nexus Cats. They see D.Va here, and they are split. Grogman able to jet out before that comes in, but in comes the charge. Bunny Hop to try and slow them down, but Grogman does roll, but the Lunar Flare is going to find its mark, and that's going to be a massive pick for the Nexus Cats.
Yeah, that's going to pretty much secure them the objective. Honestly, as much as you hate to do it, I think they have to fight 5v4 for the objective, Jay. If they lose a Frozen Punisher at 25 minutes into the game, I don't think there's any way that they defend that. This might be checkmate in favor of the Nexus Cats. If I'm the shot caller on Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, I think you YOLO win.
Right, I think that's one of the only ways they could do it. Shadowguard was actually split as well there. Not that I'm not sure that Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits had full view of that. I think they did in the mid lane, but meanwhile, you look at this. They have to clean out the core in the top and bottom lane. They're getting damage from that. They're going to have another camp being pushed here in the top lane. Frozen Punisher marching down the mid lane. I think you're right about that comment about checkmate for Nexus Cats.
Yeah, I mean, even if Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, pulls the Olay maneuver and fights past the Punisher, a 26-minute Punisher is an absolute beast.
Yeah, I will say this much: the Frozen Punisher doesn't deal quite as much siege damage as its 2 counterparts, but still, more than enough to warrant concern for sure. We are going to see the Hyperion coming out. Nice bait of that first jump, but the second one hits 3 people, and here come the Nexus Cats. They are looking to try and find the members out. They've got a couple of catapults beating down this core. Nuclear option is going to be put down on the core, so it's going to clear out the Nexus Cats for the moment, zone them away, but huge roots coming in from John Cena on the bottom end, but the core is going down, and game 1 going to go over pretty decisively over to the Nexus Cats.
Yeah, 14 kills to 3, only lost 1/4 that whole game. It really felt like that was Nexus Cats' game to lose, pretty much. Anything?
Well, right away, 55k damage from Arthaniu. About the same amount from Asmodan, but he always gets those high damage numbers because it's a lot of spread damage. But the 4 kills, the 490 for Arthaniu, definitely one of the stronger performances in the matchup. Imperius also surprisingly high amount of siege damage, as he was able to get a lot of clear, a lot of soak. So very well done by Shadowguard, keeping the Nexus Cats ahead in the XP game and playing very well in that solo lane. And just overall, I think the 14-3 kill count is what kind of tells the story of this matchup.
Yeah, and there's an interesting thing I'm seeing here. The siege damage out of everybody on Olaf and the Sweating Bandits is kind of obscenely high. Is that a reflection of just constantly having minions pushed in on their lanes, that they were basically always in lane having to perform maintenance? They kind of racked
Yeah, a lot
up
of times you'll see lower siege damage from teams that are passive soaking to get that XP, or just not pushing it quite as hard, or being pushed against quite as hard. And that's kind of also the passive XP coming into play as well. You know, they didn't get quite as much with the waves pushing in late game, but they had all the structure advantage, which would give them all that passive XP without the siege damage to come with it, I think.
Well, if you're Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, are you going to... Oh, well, it looks like we have a lobby link up there. It looks like Jay's on. We're going to be going to Volskaya Foundry, and I think this is Nexus Cat's choice of map, because they did post the link. So Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits going for first pick.
Yeah, so changing it up a little bit from the last matchup, and we'll be interested to see how if they make any changes to their drafts or their playstyle here for game number 2, or if they continue the status quo with how they've kind of done this season.
You know, and I think when you win a game as decisively as Nexus Cats did for that game 1, I think you kind of put the pressure on the other team to make the adjustment. You don't need to change much of anything. You make the other team show you that they can beat you in that style. So I really think it's on Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits to make the adjustments, to change the matchups, to change the comps or the style of game, to take that victory away. I don't think you change anything up if you're Nexus Cats, because you showed how decisive that game.
I agree. You don't want to get too cute when you're already winning. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But either way, it looks like we are about ready, and in we go into the map here for map number 2, Volskaya Foundry, the pick of the Nexus Cats. So we're going to see Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits here with first pick, first ban. Maiev, anyone?
I mean,
I think after that first game, do you have to ban out the Maiev from Nexus Cats, or was that not quite the quintessential problem?
well, I mean, there were a lot of problems, but I think Maiev specifically, there's, in my opinion, there's kind of 3 heroes that fit into this category, which is Maiev, Zeratul, and Orphea. And the category is not necessarily played by enough people to maybe warrant a lot of drafts, just in regular at-home games, but in competitive, where you know the scouting reports on the other teams and you get to know the players and the teams a little bit, and you know what they play. If the other team has a Orphea player who you know is good, or a Maiev player who you know is good, or a Zeratul player who you know is good, those heroes are so impactful and so hard to deal with when played properly that I think it deserves the ban. But instead, they're actually going to ban it to
Yeah,
Jaina.
Arthani definitely strutting on the Jaina last game, but it does leave up a couple of options still. Notably, one that he likes to play is the Orphea. So we'll have to see if maybe Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits wants to look to deny that with their first pick. But instead, they're going to go to the Kael'thas. So still prioritizing the mages, but I'm thinking that Arthani is not going to need very long. There it is.
For the Nexus.
And that's one of those kind of heroes I highlighted. Orphea showing up on the highlight reels a lot this season, just capable of doing so many different things when played well. And I don't mind the Imperious pick by Shadowguard either. They played so well. Following up on that CC was really solid in the solo lane. So picking up the Imperious.
Yeah, and we are going to see a Nubarak coming out on the other side. Imperious, very well played last game by Shadowguard. I like them going back to that. And before they can ban it out, Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits going to get their Murky nice and early this game.
Yeah, they are like, we know you banned it mid-round this time, but we are not going to give you that opportunity. We're going to get Murky whether you like it or not. Grogman, hold on, stripping down to my skivvies. He is going full
Nothing
murky
but a
here
diaper
game
for that
2.
young lad, but we are going to see the Lucio band coming out from the side of the Nexus Cats, so not wanting to see the extra fast bug on the other side. And we'll have to see what healer they want to go with off the heels of that. They did have some pretty good white main, or no, the white main was on the other side for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, but we'll have to see what they come up with here, as Maev is going to be the ban out here on the turn for the Sweaty Bandits.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. So let's see. I imagine if you're Nexus Cat, you're pretty much just going straight forward here. And so they have 2 of the 3 picks that I highlighted as those carry heroes: the Orphea, the Zeratul,
and the Imperious. Yeah. Well, and they got Tyrande back again this game, which which was played pretty well. Good lunar flares, good focus target damage, and overall, I like the Imperious Tyrande combo. It's kind of a different take on the Miranda or the Diablo Tyrande that we've seen in the past. Good easy follow-up that's pretty well telegraphed.
There is always hope.
Wow. That J is a lot of squish and not a lot of beef. At least not until he becomes the Mercinator post 20. But Anubarak is really going to be hard-pressed to control that front line and that much damage out of Nexus Cats. I want to see how they run this. Is it just going to be Diablo again? Arthas. So a lot more beef on the side of the Nexus Cats and a lot less room for error.
Yeah, there is a lot of spread damage though, especially on Volskaya Foundry. That can be pretty difficult to deal with. Tyranda's not exactly her specialty, dealing with the spread damage, and Ariel gonna have a couple of very, very good hope feeders, so we'll have to see if Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits have something special in store here. I don't see any massive combos with their comp. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Nexus Cats, of course, VP into oh my goodness potential here.
Yeah, and the first thing I notice for the side of Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits is I don't know how they're going to bully the Nexus Cats off of the point. It's going to charge up to 99%. It's going to go into overtime. And how is that team composition that the Sweaty Bandits have going to push off an Arthas and an Imperious?
Yeah, I don't think they can physically zone a Mongoose. I think they're going to have to do it just for pure, unadulterated damage. But meanwhile, we are loading in here for game number 1. Or game number 2, I should say. Game number 1 won by the Nexus Cats already. On the left, up 1-0 here. Mark Zombie is going to be playing the Arthas. Lulu going to be back on the Tyrande. This guy going to be playing the Zeratul. Arthaniu playing the... oh man, I'm blanking on it, Mongoose. Help me out here. There we go, the Orphea. And we're going to see Shadowguard playing the Imperious. This is the Nexus Cats.
And Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits trying to force yet another game 3. Features Grogman on Murky, Seymour on Lunara, Coney's Island on Kelthos, Pez on Ariel, and Udo Mancer on Anubarak.
Alright, so right away we do see the customary 4-man rotation to the mid, and the solo laners are going to go to the bot. Murky versus Imperious. I haven't seen a whole lot of that matchup, but I think Imperious should do just fine against the smallest of our solo laners that we have available here in the Nexus.
Yeah, the one thing I want to know is if Imperious, does he have the attack speed to actually burn through the pufferfish? Because that is a factor. If you don't burn through Murky's pufferfish when you're laning against him, he's going to be successful. So we'll see. And he's using the decoy egg as a lane proc here. I've never seen it used that way before. That's really clever, actually.
This is definitely my favorite hero to watch him play. And it's gonna be a treat to watch him in this game, win or lose. Murky does fall as first blood. Gonna go over to the Nexus Cats, but when you got a Murky, you kind of expect to give up first blood a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Part of me just wants to sit down in that bottom lane on that matchup. But I suppose we do have 8 other heroes battling it out elsewhere on here, so we should watch them as well. Murky is actually going to pair up with Lunara for that bottom right siege camp. The Owl does check it out for
Fair
the Nexus
assessment,
Cats, so they
Mongoose.
are aware that it's there.
I think that's definitely a fair deal there. But meanwhile, wanting to watch the solo lane at least. But right away, camps picked up on both sides. Nexus Cats just a little bit quicker on the rotation. This is well known as being one of the teams that are able to boast the most analysts, at least in Div D. There are a couple other teams that have a few members of our analyst team, so they expect them to play good macro and be good students of the game, regardless of what their micro skills or overall execution might actually be.
What I want to draw your attention to, Jason, Kael'thas at level 1, he went Convection. Coney's Island, if he is ever going to finish that and get value out of that talent, he is going to have to play uber passive to get that done. And with the Zeratul in particular, I really think maybe the shield talent at 1, the more traditional option, might have been the way to go. But most importantly, we have 3 fake eggs.
They're going to think it's egg roulette, but nope. Actually, it's more like hide the queen. None of them are the queen, Mongoose, if you've ever played that game. But we are going to see those taken out pretty quickly. Vision granted, if nothing else, here for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits. And I've heard some recent arguments for that level 1 for Coney Island on the Arthas. It's not popular amongst the top tier players as much, but there are a few that still advocate for it. And I can see their point. It's a flat 100, but when you consider the possibilities of maybe double after the level 16 and then the cooldown reduction at the 20, that extra 100 damage can start to chip away in these long team fights after a while.
Yeah, but that bonus damage doesn't matter if Zeratul just comes in there and sends
instantly.
It back.
It looks like Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits are looking to play the macro game, not looking to team fight early. They're looking to scale.
Yeah, I mean, look at how fast Anub just got chunked there. He's not the tankiest of tanks and trying to hold that front line by himself. Udomancer really going to have his work cut out for him. Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits opted to not even contest the first Rock'em Sock'em Rollabot.
In the bot lane, no big shocker there. Seymour in trouble, actually able to dodge the laser beam of death, but ultimately does end up dying in the top lane anyway. And that is going to be the first true kill of the game going over to the Nexus Cats. As we do see Coney Island trying to find some Q stacks, but still only 6, even after this Punisher is going to end up going down.
Yeah, I mean, at least he's alive, so he hasn't lost his stacks. So really watch Coney Island. I imagine he's going to play uber passive, but already only 5 minutes into the game, and Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits are
right now 0% chance of Convection being completed this game. I mean, we'll see. He's been playing pretty smart with it so far, but you're right. They're going to have to give up quite a lot early in this game until they scale later. Lunara scaling very well. Of course, Anubarak gets a lot more appealing as a pick after he gets level 10 for that web wrap and the ability to give you that little bit of extra advantage in those team fights. And of course, Murky, as you said, the strongest after level 20. So we'll see if this game lasts long enough for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits to hit their power spikes and be able to come back with a vengeance here for game 2.
Not looking great thus far, as once again, as a double root into all the Orphea damage. No Lunar Flare yet. There it is. Unomancer and Pez able to walk away from the potential rotation there, but Heroics on board here for the Nexus Cats already. Starfall from Tyrande. Summon Sindragosa coming out from Arthas. And there it is. It does catch KT and Anubarak, as well as shut down this fortification. And here come the Nexus Cats with 3 turrets and a biotic emitter as well.
And they're even going to drop one of these turrets to try and and actually secure this, as Murky does fall in the mid lane once again to Imperius. He's dominating that matchup right now, not just in terms of the kills, but he's also pressing in these lanes and winning the wave clear matchup too, which is a little bit extra special, as now another biotic emitter going to be targeted and grabbed here for the Nexus Cats as level 10 comes in for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits. We're going to see the Crystal Aegis along with March of the Murlocs, Thornwood Vines, Cocoon, and Pyroblast, maybe? Maybe a little Phoenix? I don't know. We'll have to see.
I think it's got to be Pyroblast, to be honest. I think they need the kill pressure with Army of the Dead and Zeratul. And like, I don't think Phoenix threatens them the same way that the Pyroblast does. So I would be surprised. Oh, it is Phoenix. I think I would have gone with the Pyroblast. You put it on the Orphea. Not a lot of answers there. Well, let's see. Taronda, did you go Spell Power? No, she didn't go the Spell Power Shield either.
Yeah,
so
I don't hate the Phoenix. I think right now
myself.
the members of Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits are mostly looking long term for that spread damage, and so that the Phoenix is going to help with that. To get the AOE damage out and really be able to annihilate multiple members, particularly that might be slowed and caught in the slow from Lunara and the March of the Murlocs. Which, by the way, Lunara damage, unfair advantage at 16. Does a lot of extra poison damage to slow targets. That, along with the March of the Murlocs, that can actually be pretty scary to fight into.
Yeah, and they have some cute things that they can do at this comp if they get to the late game, but that's a big if the way this is going
right now.
The
Murky kill. His egg is in bot lane, so it's going to send Grogman all the way back down to the bot. And right now, this is looking like another auto concession here for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits. And if you are Nexus Cats here and you've got this advantage, you've got kind of an advantage in the game overall, where do you take this Punisher? Do you go to bot lane and look to take out that fort, or are you looking top keep?
I want top keep. I want those Katas spawning in the top lane during the next objective. And so far, this game, it hasn't seemed like Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits have an answer, even when you're not in the Triglav Protector. So my thought process, especially with Syndragosa, by the way, you get the keep in the top lane. There it is. And then afterwards, you can rotate to the bottom lane to prep it for the objective.
Before it is going to be zoning the members of Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits away. They're going to look to try and get some damage out here. Couple more stacks there for Coney Island on the Convection as they look to defend, but this keep is going down, and it's going down fast, Mongoose.
Yeah, they're trading so much early game to try to get to this late game comp. Coney Island is just forced to play so unbelievably passive. He's basically stepping up to max range Q, throwing it out and stepping back again because he's so concerned, and understandably so, about losing those Convection
developer
stacks.
Question here for you, Mongoose. If you hit the Flame Strike on Triglav when there are two members in it, do you think that should count as 2 Convection stacks?
I think it would count the same where it should, same way Cho'Gall does.
We are going to see Grogman deep in the bottom lane, trying to harass Shadow Guard, making him play a little ring around the rosy here. Having some fun, but ultimately is going to go down, getting minimal damage to the fort. He has opened up the wall and taken away the well, which is a pretty nice get, but we'll be spawning here back in the bot lane, while members of Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits on the other side are up in the top lane. So Nexus Cats are going to go ahead and invade and grab themselves yet another toy to play with here on Volskaya Foundry.
Yeah, there is an opportunity here in the near future for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, though. If they are able to get on the same talent tier and keep their fountain up in the bottom, that does give them a small advantage to hopefully be able to back off and reset. Maybe you can bait out some talents and maybe some heroics and reset with the fountain in the next objective. Especially as Kel'Thas only needs one more Convection stack.
Right,
and
so
then
we'll have to see.
done.
Level 16s are now in. Arthaniu incredibly low on the top end. Gonna have to back out and get some healing from the well and from Lulu. But again, Nexus Cat's playing very smart. They're going to go ahead and back up and pick up the camp, reset, get their health bars back up, and then maybe look to engage. Shadow Guard in a little bit of trouble, though. There is Convection finished, and a ton of damage coming out as well. They're even going to throw out the Phoenix, but Eternal Feast on the other end to zone. March of the Murlocs going down. So a lot of really big cooldowns, especially March, which is now 100 seconds away here. Here on Volskaya Foundry, it is a pretty long time until we're going to see the map objective up. They have big gaps in between the map objectives, but I don't think they're going to have March for quite a while into that next map objective.
Yeah, certainly not initially. Maybe toward the end of it if they can draw it out. As Anubrak eats the Impale and all of the Orphea and Zeratul stuff, immediately Burrow charges away. Zera able to use one of his 37 teleports to get back in there, but not quite able to
was the one with 9
polish him
lives
off.
there, rather than on the other side with the Nexus Cats. But Grogman now going to start beating down the doors on the top lane, and Shadow Guard. I gotta say, for the record, Shadow Guard has done an amazing job this game, being the counter pressure to Murky, not allowing Grogman to do what he does best, which is that side push, that counter pressure, and it's just been doing a great job of guarding all of these structures.
Yeah, and I like Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits kind of stepping up in this bottom lane, protecting this fountain, but if they get to 16, that is going to show us if Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits have the tools to actually come back here. Kael'thas will have his Convection. Lunara will have her Unfair Advantage. That's all of the tools you were referencing coming up here in just a few seconds. So we're going to see if this is going to make a game out of this. And as one-sided as this game has felt, level 16 to level 17, 4 kills to 0. Murky is making his way down here, and we're going to have, I think, the battle that
Ladies
is going
and
to
gentlemen,
determine
get that
the course
clip
of this
button
game
ready,
up,
because we
right
might
about
be
now,
having
Jay.
a team fight of the ages here. Arthaniu instantly taking a ton of damage from that Flame Strike. Unidancer is going to be the first to fall on the other side, though. So many toys coming out. Meanwhile, that guy just doing what Zeratul does with all that pressure on the backside. It's going to be a 3-for-0 if you count the Murky kill. And right away, Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits not able to find what they're looking for off this first team fight. A little bit of a wonky engagement there, a little bit split, and the Nexus Cats are now going to start taking even more pressure and even more of a lead here on Volskaya.
Yeah, we talked about level 16 power spikes. You know who else has a really big 16 power spike? Zeratul. And when Anubrak YOLO'd in to kind of go aggro on the Nexus Cats, Zeratul had free range on Lunara and Kael'thas, and those heroes were either A, killed, or B, just totally zoned away from their tank and unable to follow up on the engagements.
Yeah,
Nexus
they are
Cats
definitely
have to be
going
eyeballing
hard
the end
onto
of game
this
2
team.
here.
They want to make sure to secure that. Murky not even here for the defense, up in the top lane trying to soak. Kael'thas is going to end up going down. Aegis comes out on Pez, but it's just going to be a stopgap for the moment. Arthaniu low on the backside, but the Unidancer not going to be able to find the finish, and that is going to be it for every member of the Sweaty Bandits except Lunara and Murky. And I just don't know if they have the tools here, Mongoose, to keep this game alive.
No, I think this is going to be at a pretty clean 2-0 in favor of the Nexus Cats, showing why they're tops
And
of
that is
tops
a
of the
game
division
2
right
and the
now.
series going over to the Nexus Cats. GG, well played. All right, we'll go on into the match summary here for game number 2. And this time I'm just going to swat it on back to you, Mongoose. Any stats that you like out of this game number 2? I'm getting a whole lot of
0.
zeros, actually. That's very
The
interesting.
stat is 0. Yeah, and in the death column for the Nexus Cats, all the zeros. I don't think it's really. You're setting poor Udamancer up for failure because he just had so many things he had to try to do. You try to initiate. You have to try to hold Arthas back, hold Imperius back, keep Zeratul off the back line. Poor guy's only got so many buttons It just felt like the whole team collectively for Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits,
Yeah,
there
and not
just
enough
weren't
beef
enough
to
hit
protect.
points
You know,
there.
I think in that last fight, what you want to do with your Flame Strike build Kael'thas is be able to poke and prod damage in slowly over time. Lunara, all that damage over time. They didn't have proper protection to be able to slowly move in. They had to kind of try to force their way in, which is not really what their comp is good at. You know, Murky definitely not going to be able to zone a Zeratul, especially with March, you know. You know, overall, you know, I like the gumption. I like the concepts. The execution wasn't too bad. I just think Nexus Cats too powerful in that matchup. The meta that they had and the way they executed it, just very hard to combat that at all.
Yeah, and like maybe if you're Olaf and the Sweaty Bandits, you can win an engagement in this particular comp if you kind of like slowly fight kiting backwards. Like I suppose I'm trying to figure out maybe something adjustment you can make in game, but kind of fighting as you're kiting backwards will work for Lunara and Kael'thas, and you get Murky to annoy them, and a Nubarak throwing out stuns as they kind of fight backwards, and maybe you can kite that way. But you're never going to win the objective fighting backwards on Volskaya Foundry as well. So I don't really know what the answer was in the context of
all right,
the
well, we're going to go ahead and
drafted.
look to see if we can bring in Arthaniu for an interview. Hello, Arth. How you doing? There he is. And yes, you can bring Mark if you want, but he's got to add me as a friend first. So tell him to accept. Good. All right. Well, you guys get a big win here on the first Monday Night Showdown. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. It was we felt pretty comfortable with what we had going for us. We felt really good about it.
So we are joined by both team captain Arthaniu
Hello.
and strategist and drafter Mark Zombie here from the side of the Nexus Cats. Congratulations again, guys. I want to go back and look at game number 1 to start things off here. Infernal Shrines. Tell me a little bit about your reaction to that slightly unorthodox draft, the Asmodan comp. Were you guys prepared for it, and how do you guys feel like you did against it?
Well, we weren't prepared for it, but I think we were pretty comfortable with the idea of it. We knew that in a real team fight with 2 teams going at it, we had the advantage, and as long as they didn't bring it to a late game, we could maintain the advantage up until about 20. So
yeah, and I think Asmodan's something that we definitely feared in the past, and we've worked a little bit on trying to combat that playstyle with our coach. Shout outs to August. And then the Diva, of course, with the bomb on the point there. I think we had some pretty nice tools to deal with it. Having Diablo to push that away. And then also
and one
Maya
thing I wanted to highlight for you guys was Shadow Guard on Imperius in both of these games. Great play overall, but especially in that second game, being very conscious of the murky rotations, protecting your guys' structure. Tell me a little bit about Shadow Guard.
So Shadow Guard has been absolutely killing it on Imperius, and he's been one thing we really worked on is offlane rotations and offlane map awareness, and Shadow Guard has been on top of his game, especially this series. I think it's the best he's ever played, for sure. He's on top of their offlane, being mindful that he needs to out-soak their offlaner at all times, and if he's doing that, he's winning.
All right, Mongoose, you have any questions for these guys?
Well, you did forget Mark Zombie's most important introduction here is the Nexus Edge Streamer of the Week. This guy's broadcasting machine. So congratulations on that. Yeah, if you didn't know, spoiler alert. You guys play Noodle Fiasco on Wednesday. Any thoughts on that matchup? Got to keep it going. Any super secret strat you want to reveal here so they know to ban it out on Wednesday?
You want to take that, Mark?
Yeah, sure. As the strategist and drafter, we were looking at playing some Cho'Gall.
Nice.
might come out. He's maybe some people scouting me sees my second highest tier, level 44. So we've been
I mean,
working
that's
on that.
impressive no matter who you are. If you can play Cho'Gall that much. First of all, you have a really good friend. And second of all, you got very good patience.
Oh yeah, I remember grinding out the master skin for Cho'Gall, and also having to get the mastery on Gall as well.
All
It's
right,
quite
anything
fun.
else, Mongoose?
No, just congratulations,
Yeah,
guys.
congratulations on the win. Thanks for
good luck
coming
on
in for the
Wednesday.
interview,
Thank you.
gentlemen. But before
you.
we let you go, do you have any shout-outs?
Sure. Shout out to my team as always. They're a wonderful group of people and my friends, and I appreciate you guys.
And I've got a shout out to my brother Casey and his team, Excel Esports in Div B East. Shout outs to August again, our phenomenal coach, Turd Herder with that beautiful crispy tie. And
All right, well,
shout outs to my
congratulations
team,
again
I
on the
guess.
win, guys.
Yeah.
Go back to your team. Enjoy the win. You guys have earned it. Have a good night. All right, well, short,
Thank you, you
sweet,
too.
and to the
Thanks,
point,
Jason.
both in the
Take care.
games and the interview, Mongoose. Big win here for the Nexus Cats as they now are really putting the hurt on the rest of Div D East. And it'd be interesting to see who kind of comes out ahead as we close to the end of the season. It looks like them and Frankfurters are both performing at a very high level right now.
Yeah, and I think if you're one of those teams that's, I don't want to say comfortably, but sitting at the top of the division, and you've really been playing well, and you're pretty much going into the playoffs likely as a higher seed. I wonder at what point, because we certainly don't have this problem. At what point do you talk about
Yeah, and
standardizing
trying
your
out
drafts
different
to not
things,
show anything
having
going
more
into the
fun
playoffs?
when it's okay. You can afford to drop a game or two. That's definitely a nice luxury that I've rarely ever felt like I've had in the series. But it looks like these guys are kind of getting their way there. But before we close out tonight, any shout outs you want to make? Where can people find you? The floor is yours, Mongoose.
Twitch.tv/mongoose_22. Same on Twitter, but with 2 underscores. And I'm sure you'll pimp it, so I'm going to beat you to it. The Thursday night showdown, Jay.
Yeah,
is
we
a
got a sneak
big,
preview
big
for
one
you
this week.
tonight in terms of the announcement, at least. We'll have official announcement trailer along with highlights coming out tomorrow, but it's going to be Revive Esports and Celeb Gaming. And, there's really no shock there. You look at the Thursday night slate, there are a few good games, but one of them just a cut above the rest. These two powerhouses out of the Heroic Division are going to be a lot of fun to watch.
There's no two ways about it. These are 2 of the top 3 teams. In NGS, Celeb Gaming, I think is the top. But Revive and Celeb, they have played against each other in a number of competitions. And Revive has taken games and has many competitive games against Celeb. So Celeb going to be the favorites, but don't sleep on Revive. They've shown they can beat Celeb. They've shown they can then put games on them. So it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility by any stretch for Revive to.
Yep, and that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thank you very much for coming out and watching. Be sure to check out the Thursday Night Showdown. Check out the YouTube channel where we'll have this game posted pretty soon, sometime tonight, along with a new Nexus Edge episode that came out this morning. You guys can check that out and all that and more. As for me, you guys can check out all my content over at twitch.tv/JazonHots and also on my YouTube as well. I've actually got the link in there for both myself and Mongoose, so be sure to head on over to our channels and hit that follow button. But very important is also hit the follow button here on the Nexus Gaming Series channel. We're going to have a lot of great content coming up for you as we head into the back half of the regular season and the playoffs, which would be really cool too. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and that's going to be it for us. We're going to play the credits trailer at the end, but until next time, I am Jazon, he's Mongoose, and for the Nexus Gaming Series, have a good night, everybody.